Happy Wednesday and welcome back to Pink Slip Pavilion. And if this is your first time here, welcome to the pavilion. Here we believe in reframing the layoff experience. We call it turning a pink slip into a power move. But either way, every Wednesday, we're usually sharing stories of people who have gone through a layoff and come out the other side better off for it. This Wednesday is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be the first time that I give you a framework or something that you can take with you to grow through your layoff experience. Now, I want your feedback. I want to know if this is helpful for you. This framework that I'm going to share today is something I learned in a leadership psychology course that I've been doing, and it is a framework that I wish I had when I went through my layoff experience, and I know it will help somebody out there who's struggling with self-identity. Now, if you've listened to stories that have been on the show already and on the podcast, you have heard self-identity crisis come up multiple times. And when you think about a job and how much time and energy and resources you spend investing in your career, it is not far-fetched to believe that you might have a little bit of an identity crisis when all of a sudden this piece of your life comes to an abrupt ending. So what do when you feel like you don't know who you are anymore? And it is very common to tie our identity and our self and our purpose to our job. And for some people, their job truly is their calling. For a lot of people, it is a career, and for some, it is a job. And those are three different distinctions that I recently learned. Shout out Edwin, you're amazing. He's a coach that I've been working with for the last couple of years. And he's someone who really taught me a lot of these frameworks that have helped me understand and have the language and have the ability to really understand my own identity and how I can navigate challenging things that are inevitable in life. A layoff is one challenge that you can go through in life, but let's be honest, we're all humans and many of us have been through multiple challenging things. So the best thing that we can do is arm ourselves when we go through challenges to be able to get through them as quickly as possible and as honestly as we can as human beings. If we don't move through things, they will eventually come back. So this is not going to be a psychology lesson for you necessarily, but this is going to be a framework to help you if you're struggling with self-identity, going through a job loss, or if you're fearful that a job loss may be in the future, a layoff may be in the future for you. This is going to be a helpful framework for you to save so that you can come back to it when you feel like you're having potentially an identity crisis. So let's dive into it. Your self-identity, you might not know this. I didn't know this. I didn't even think about it. Your self-identity evolves. You are not the same person your whole life. You do not identify the same way your whole life. So as you are thinking about who you are as a person and how you identify, if someone were to say, Ashley, who are you? What would I answer? And often in the US, our answer is our job, right? We lead with how we make an income. But my self-identity is going to continue to evolve with time. So right now, I am a daughter. Right now, I'm a sister. One day, I may be a wife or a mother. And that's a really common thing that happens in our self-identities, right? When we all of a sudden are married or all of a sudden have children, and now all of a sudden our identities shift. And it's very common for new parents to go through identity crises, right? Because your world is changing and how you identify in the world is changing. So this is a really awesome framework that you can use in a lot of different ways. But I want you to understand that your identity, your self-identity is going to evolve with time. So when we get too hung up on our self-identity and we don't recognize that it is going to evolve, that is inevitable, it causes havoc for us when we're going through these changes. And if you can recognize that it is going to change and evolve, then when you hit these moments where it is inevitably being forced upon you, there's a little bit of an easier time in grasping that, oh, this piece is falling away, but something new is coming to replace it. And that's how this framework works. It's so helpful. So let's dive into it. I'm going to walk you through this. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a visual included. So I'm going to walk you through and share a map that I created that I'll walk through on the podcast. If you're listening to this on the podcast, I'm going to walk you through exactly what you're seeing on YouTube. And if you are curious and you're listening to this on the podcast, jump on YouTube, fast forward to the part where you can see the visual. It's great. But I do want you to do this on your own time. I want you to actually do this exercise. It is so helpful for you. So to start, I want you to write your name in the middle of a blank piece of paper and I want you to draw a circle around it. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you already have an idea of where this is going. If you're listening to this, I'm going to walk you through it, but try not to get ahead of me here on YouTube because I want you to grasp every step of this. So start by writing your name in the middle and circling it. I did that here. My name is Ashley. Now, what I want you to do next is I want you to start writing down the things that you identify as. So, for example, I have daughter written here. I have traveler, lifelong learner, swimmer, dancer, friend, coach and consultant, entrepreneur, founder, marketer, singer, sister, baker, writer. You get the picture. There are so many different ways that I identify in this world. And honestly, this is just the beginning. I didn't want to get too crazy with this map, but I wanted you to be able to see all the different types of things that you can write down and ways that you may identify in the world. Now, you might start a map like this and then come back to it and continue to add, continue to add, continue to add. But you'll notice that as you write down all of these things, you'll realize how vast your self-identity truly is. Now, the danger is when you lose a job, your job is part of this self-identity. So my previous job was a senior account executive. That would be one of my bubbles here. It would be, or one of the things that I would have written down. It would have been account executive. Now, when that goes away, now all of a sudden I'm missing a bubble and I start to panic and I start to freak out because I've identified myself as this thing and this thing is now gone. And so it causes this internal turmoil and like, well, if I'm not this, then who am I? This is the next step that becomes super important for you. So once you've mapped it, feel free to pause this and do your map, or if you want to listen to this whole thing and then go back and do your map, but I highly encourage you, do your self-identity map. Once you've done that, you'll have a whole bunch of things here. And on the right side, or I guess on the left if you want, but off to the side, I want you to write down traits associated with the things that you identify as. So for example, I have creative written down here. I have ambitious, curious, loyal, loving, disciplined. So if I'm looking at my identity map and I go, okay, well, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a founder, I would associate that with being ambitious. I would also associate it with being creative based on what I do for work and for my business. Marketing would be creative. When I say loving, I'm going to associate that with being a daughter, with being a sister, with being a friend. Adventurous, that's going to be my traveling, my foodie. So these are traits that are consistent with the way that you identify in the world. Now, here's why this is important. If I identify as being an entrepreneur and a founder, and the core traits that come with that, for example, would be ambition, intelligence, brave. If that's how I see myself, those are the traits that I associate with my entrepreneurship journey and my founder journey. If tomorrow I wake up and I'm no longer an entrepreneur and a founder, am I still ambitious? Am I still intelligent? Am I still brave? Yes, the answer is yes for me. And this is why this is so important. When we can identify our core traits, anything on here can fall off, but you are still the person that you were. You're just going to reallocate those traits. So for example, when I was an account executive, I would say I was ambitious. I would say I was intelligent. I would say I was disciplined. Those are three traits that didn't change when I lost my job. I simply rerouted them into a new identity, a new place. So for me, that showed up as entrepreneurship. That showed up as being a founder. That showed up as being a coach and consultant. Before I applied that to my business, my discipline showed up in my gym routine. It showed up in dancing and being consistent in my food habits. Those are places where you can reroute your traits. So that's the key to this. When you understand your self-identity and you can look at your traits and go, I still have these traits, whether I identify in this way or not. Now you can take those traits and you can find a new outlet for them. And when you find a new outlet, that is when you stop feeling as shaken up about your self identity because you know that those traits don't go anywhere. You are still the same person. You're just growing into a new space. You're growing into a new self identity, and you just need to take those traits and find a new place to apply them. So, what I would encourage you to do is I would encourage you to do your self identity map, write down your traits, but I would also encourage you to write your old job in the center of the page. So, where you currently have your name, write down your old title at work. And then I want you to start to write the traits associated with your job. Because when you can start to identify what are the traits, how do I see myself under this title? How do I see myself having built this career? Well, now you know which traits you need to reallocate into other arenas of your life. And that might not be work right away. That might be just in the pursuit of work. That might be in the pursuit of starting a business. That might be a gym routine. That might be getting more creative and finding creative outlets for that energy, for those traits. There's so many different places that your traits can be reallocated. It doesn't just have to be, this is where I made money. These are the traits I associate. Now I need to just put that towards making more money. You will have another job at some point. You will have a business that you start at some point. I don't know what your journey has in store. What I do know that this is one of the few times in your career, especially in the United States, where you actually have the time to go, what do I want next? And part of the decision-making process of what you want next comes down to understanding where are you now? What do you need to feel fulfilled? What do you want next? What was not working that you were neglecting for a long time because you had no choice or you didn't want to get uncomfortable by leaving that job? I don't know what your circumstances are. What I do know is you have more agency in your life than you realize. And with a simple framework like this, I wish I had this framework when I went through injury after a car accident. It would have been really helpful when I went from being in the gym every day to not being able to get off the couch without being in pain. This framework works whether you're talking about job loss, you're talking about relationship changes, you're talking about accidents and injury. This is a framework of understanding yourself better. And when you understand yourself better, it feels easier to move through challenges because there's a sense of agency that you're taking back in your life. So I hope this was helpful. I would love to hear your feedback. For everyone that is here every week listening to stories, we'll be back with more stories next week and in the weeks to follow. But I'm going to start incorporating some of these tactical things to help support those that are walking through their layoff journeys and really navigating this so that they have tactical things they can take with them on their journey. And I would love your feedback. So if you got value out of this, let me know in the comments. Give me a like on this video so I know that I should come back and do more videos like this for this community. And of course, if you're new here or if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. We're here every Wednesday because on Wednesdays we wear pink and we are on a mission, like I said at the beginning, to reframe the layoff experience. It is very normal to get laid off in your career. It is not a reflection of you, but it can be an opportunity for you if you're willing to lean into it. So I will see you next Wednesday.